Hey, what's going on everybody? Mano back here with another Destiny 2 strategy guide. In today's video, we're going to be showing you how to complete the Harbinger mission that gives you access to random rolls inside of Destiny 2 for the Hawkmoon hand cannon, as well as paracausal feathers, as well as the Hawkmoon Catalyst. This is pretty exciting because this is the first time in Destiny history that we actually have an exotic that can roll with different rolls, which is pretty exciting. The Catalyst will give you an increased magazine size, handling, reload speed, and weapon range based on the number of stacks of paracausal charge. In addition, there's a bunch of different triumphs you can do, including completing the Harbinger within 15 minutes, which will give you access to the Wings of Light emblem, which is a really cool looking emblem. All right, let's get started. First things first, you're going to go over to the Crow who's in the Tangled Shore, and you're going to pick up the Bird of Prey exotic quest line. What you're going to see then is you're not going to have access to anything specifically on your map, but what you're going to do is go inside of the Trossland. Many people saw that there was a special secret path that was in the opening area of the Trossland in the last couple of weeks, but we're going to go ahead and show you that right now. When you get into the Trossland, go ahead and follow the path that you see here on screen up to the second level of this building complex right here. There will be a fireplace that will look like it is just a normal fireplace, but if you equip Hawkmoon and shoot in this path here, a hole will open and you will be able to access the mission. Now, I have to say this again. If you do not have Hawkmoon yet, you will not be able to access this mission. You need to go and complete that part first. So if you have not gotten your Hawkmoon yet, turn around from this video, go back, go get the Hawkmoon using one of the other videos that you can find on YouTube, and we'll go from there. You'll find yourself inside of the Harbinger mission right here, and you're going to run through some of the ruins of this building here. You can see that you've got a quest index that says hunt the emissaries, but first you have to get through the ruins and over to the dam. So follow the path that you see here on screen. If you don't know about this, many people in the community had discovered this path once before, so there's nothing really new here. You just need to make sure you go all the way through this and follow this path up to the door, which we could not access as a community before, but now we can access the rest of the mission. So what's going to happen is you're going to open up this door here and you're going to go up this ramp. Once you go up the ramp, you're going to turn immediately to your left. There's going to be a taken enemy that is going to be shooting at you. And what you're going to do is you're going to head over on these pipes here and jump to that platform. Now, you are going to jump onto that tree branch right there. And yes, it seems like it's kind of a crazy jump, but it's very doable on all characters. After that, you're going to find your way over to the dam right here onto this little edge right here. There are going to be some different ways you can path through here, but basically what you want to do is go to this spot right here, and you can see that there's almost some grippy areas here. You're going to jump straight up after that. You'll see that you are able to ascend these platforms. Now, there's two ways you can get in through here. There's actually the path right over from the upper side over here. You can kind of approach it from this side. You can see that over there is a area that is opened to you. Now, if you fall down, just try to recover like you can see here on screen here. I wanted to show that it is easy to recover. Just make sure you take your time and don't rush like I did that second time here. We're going to take a second, get on the grippy things, and just walk up. If you have too much velocity going down, you will fall down. So what you're going to do is you're going to come around the corner here. You can just swing up to this area, grapple right there, and you will be inside the door where you need to go. Jump out of the piping system here, and you will see that there is only really one way you can go, and you'll find yourself in a giant turbine room inside of the dam. There you will find a number of different taken enemies, and what you are going to focus on is doing enough damage to the emissaries of Savathun who will be shooting you. They are the large bosses that are going to be scattered throughout this turbine hall here. There are also going to be a number of different shielded enemies, so I really recommend having a little bit of all three of the light-based subclasses. That's Arc, Solar, and Void here. Because of the different shield types, stasis isn't really an advantage here, so definitely having a different range of weapons so you can break different shields is going to be huge in this mission, or having a fire team that is spec'd so that you all have different stuff set up on your characters is important. Now, what you're going to find is you're going to be moving to different areas, and once you do enough damage on the emissaries of Savathun, they're going to disappear and they're going to scatter to 3 separate rooms scattered throughout this turbine hall. Now, the problem is that there are going to be a ton of these taken snipers that are going to be taking you out. I really recommend getting on top of the area here in the turbine hall where you can see these chained platforms and taking out as many of them as you can. In fact, this is the safest spot to do as much damage as you can. If you're going to solo this for any reason whatsoever, this would be a good spot to be at. So you'll see here that there's another emissary of Savathûn, and the different emissaries will have the 3 different types. There will be a void, a solar, and an arc shield on all of the different enemies. So having a group of weapons or abilities that can go through all of those different shields, again, is going to be very, very important. Now, when you push the different enemies that are the emissaries forward, they are going to spawn a taken blight in some of the door paths where they are scattered throughout the hall. And those are the areas where the emissaries go to hide or run away from you. What we're going to do in this particular run is we're going to push all the emissaries over to those side rooms and then just take them out one by one. That helps us keep track of where the enemies are. But if you want to take out an emissary of Savathûn, then go find that hidden room where it's at, and then go rinse and repeat and just find the different bosses. That is definitely a decent strategy too. We just figured cleaning out the entire middle turbine hall is an easy way to deal with it. And I think that that is a really good way to solo it too, is just taking it piece by piece, making sure you clear all the enemies out. I think that's the best way to do it, especially if you are trying to be a solo player and complete this as well. All right, we've pushed the 3 emissaries of Savathûn to their hidden rooms, so we're gonna go scatter as a fire team and go find them. All you really need to do if you're running this solo is to look for the different rooms that have different blights covering the doorways. Not very difficult to find, but there will be a couple more snipers that will spawn up here, so please be careful here. As you can see, in 2 shots, they almost destroy me. Having a Titan is really nice here just because you can shield yourself from having all those. So there's a door right there as well as a door there. Those are the 3 different areas where you need to go into, kill all of the emissaries of Savathûn. Now the rooms will all be a little bit different, but basically what you want to do is you want to break the shields on the emissaries as quickly as possible, but you also want to kill the scions as quickly as possible that are going to be through the room, or the hobgoblins that are shielding or sniping. That is really what you're going to want to do as well. So while we're finishing up the other emissaries of Savathûn, what we're going to do is give you a little bit of an idea of what weapons you should bring. Hawkmoon is actually a pretty good choice in this mission, but you don't have to run it. Really, all you have to do is use Hawkmoon to open up the chimney door and start the mission. When I ran this, I found that my favorite loadout was actually the Commemoration LMG. I ran the 7th Seraph SMG as well as Hawkmoon in the primary slot. By doing that, I also ran on a Solar Titan, and then I had all 3 subclasses actually taken care of. So if I needed to, I could shred a lot of shields and things like that. But one of the cool things about this mission is that this is not an equipment locked activity. So if you find that you need to change weapons or things like that, that totally is okay. A lot of people really recommend using Xenophage. Swords would be okay too, except for the fact that there are a lot of enemies that are going to be shooting fire at you throughout this mission. All right, once you kill the 3 emissaries of Savathûn, it will say follow the hawk, and you're going to find your way down this hallway, and you're going to find yourself in the original room where the original Hawkmoon mission was. You can see in this room here, there was that original area where you came from, but this area is going to be where you're going to have the next missive, which is called Survive. All in all, this is not that difficult of an area, but there are going to be a number of enemies with some different challenges that you're going to need to take care of. First of all, you're going to have to take care of all the different shield types in this area. So having all of the different weapons set up is going to be really, really nice. There's also going to be those snipers that are going to be taking you out. So you want to make sure that you use cover effectively. There's also going to be a number of unstoppable champions that are going to spawn up. There's going to be one that spawns up by himself right away, and then there's going to be 2 that spawn up afterwards. Now, the thing that kind of makes it worse is the fact that there are taken goblins spread out through this area. And what will happen is that there will also be a point where they will all tether each other and shield, like you can see here on screen, which makes it incredibly frustrating when you are trying to hit your unstoppable shot. A quick reminder that if you are using the unstoppable shot, you need to make sure that every time you try and get the shot off, you need to re-aim your weapon every time. If you just aim down the sights and you haven't re-aimed your weapon, you will not be able to get it, even though it will say unstoppable. So just food for thought in while you're using your hand cannon. Again, another good reason to have Hawkmoon. You can see here on screen, we've got some wizards here, as well as the other unstoppable enemies that are going to be coming through here. A few choice weapon recommendations for those people who are trying to get this done. Get anything that can do some type of explosive damage, whether that's a Warmind cell, dragonfly. Making sure that you can kill a lot of those taken signs that will group up and try and kill you as much as possible is actually a really good strategy here. So I really recommend having some different ways to do that. I'm actually using this 7th Seraph with the Wrath of Rasputin, as well as Rage of the Warmind, as well as a Dragonfly recombination commemoration. And it does really well in this area. Now, you're not going to shred through the enemies ridiculously quickly, but you are going to stay pretty safe, and you are not going to die as much as possible through some of these areas. Now, I left that in to show how quickly the Harbinger of Savathûn, those wizards, can kill you because they shoot out solar here. And in this particular area, there's going to be increased incoming solar damage. So you want to watch out from that, from the taken wizards, as well as the taken knights who will spit fire at you. And I wanted to show you, it doesn't take much time for that to kill you. Once this area is done, you're going to pick up the chest, which is going to give you some paracausal feathers, and then you're going to follow the path that you see here on screen. After this section, there's going to be a jumping puzzle that is going to be in the Hallowed Rift area that many of you will recognize from the first time you completed the Hawkmoon quest. So go ahead and follow this path that you see here on screen. And once you get to the Ascendant Rift, go ahead and hop on through it. Once you find your way in the Hallowed Rift, what you're going to want to do is find the paths that are in the upper areas of this spot here. So one of the easy ways to do that is to go in from the spawn area in the Hallowed Rift, and you can actually turn around. You can actually see that there's a path right here, and then you can jump to this ledge right here and then jump around there. So that way you don't just push forward. So don't automatically push forward when you get into this Hallowed Rift area. What you're going to do is follow the vegetation around through here, and there's going to be some pretty tight corners. So just take your time and don't rush. I found that when I was on a Warlock, it was very easy for me to fall off the edge. So when I ran this on my Titan, I actually made sure that I ran Lion Rampants. So if I need to do some different jumping or things like that, I was able to survive. Stompies are always a good choice for hunters who are looking to go through jumping puzzles. But if you're not used to it, I would maybe not recommend that. What you're going to do next is you're going to find your way onto that pipe right there. Be careful because you can get pushed off pretty easily. Continue to follow the path that you see here on screen, and you're going to find yourself in a spot where you're going to have to jump down. Now, there will be a couple of enemies that'll be blocking your path, but a little bit of void magic will go ahead and take care of that. This may look like a super far distance, but the truth is it's very doable by all the different characters. Now, here you'll have to watch your jumping here because you will have to land directly on this pipe area. I tried to find that pillar spot and basically land between those two spots to make sure that I did not fall off the edge or overcorrect when I was making that jump. There'll be a couple of more enemies here. Now be careful in this spot because you cannot fall down, you will die. So make sure you stay on the upper platforms here. Continue to follow your path through here. You'll find yourself into a tunnel with a couple of taken enemies. Nothing major. It'll be kind of like a little railroad path here. One quick note about this jumping puzzle as well. It is very easy to think that you have a lot of space up above you. However, there are going to be times where if you try to jump off the edge, you're actually going to hit your head. So just be careful. And again, follow the path that you see here on screen. After you get to this spot, you're going to find a giant wall with a lot of the taken, pushing, booping mechanics over here on this side. What you're going to do is just take your time and don't rush and make your way to this little spot here. Now, this spot is actually very important because there are two snipers that are going to be pretty relentless and going to be pretty vicious. So take your time in taking them out. There's nothing major about this. Just take cover while you're doing this so you don't die and have to redo any kind of a jumping puzzle. again, having teammates that can kind of take some of the aggro for you is a good idea as well. Now, this part gets to be a little bit tricky. You want to be very careful because there is an unstoppable phalanx here who is going to try and push you off the edge. You're going to actually see here that this is another reason why I changed to my lion rampants, because he could easily push you off. There's very, very little platform here, and it's very easy for him to take advantage of that and push you off the edge and make you mad. So if you're out of Titan, lion rampants, I'd really recommend, if you're on a warlock, possibly at this particular spot using Top Tree Dawnblade, just so you can Icarus dash back to where you need to go. Now, when you get to this spot here, there are not going to be any more arc shielded enemies, so there's no reason you can't switch to a solar weapon to make sure that you have lots of solar and void damage. There will be some void shields as well. At this point, it's pretty simple. You basically need to kill the boss and survive through here. But again, like I said earlier in the video, he is shooting solar flames at you, and because there is increased solar damage, this can hurt quite a bit. So you want to make sure that you're using cover effectively. Don't just be out in the open. In addition, as soon as you start to do more damage to the boss, there's going to be more of those taken blighted traps that are going to show up all around you. There will be 3 major damage phases where you'll be able to damage the Lightbearer of Savathun, but then he will spawn a ton of different enemies, and you'll have to knock those out before he'll respawn. Basically, what you want to do is make sure that you stay alive. There is a darkness zone in this area, so you don't want to die in this if you are soloing, or you want to make sure that you have teammates. If you die in this area, you also want to make sure that if you've got your fire team, that you actually allow them to pick you up, because sometimes it will actually have you spawn outside of the jumping puzzle, and it can be a little bit of a chore to come on back, especially if you are not someone who enjoys jumping puzzles. A little bit more damage to all of those different enemies. You can see here that the boss is going to spawn in one last time. For some reason on this particular run, it looked like he had full health back, and we were kind of blown away by that. But then when we got to the point where he had the appropriate amount of damage on him, he was able to be wiped up pretty quickly. So with that, that is all it takes to get this completed. If you do it in under 15 minutes, you'll get the special emblem that goes along with it. And there are a number of different triumphs, including picking up all the feathers in 1 week. All in all, I think this is one of the highlights of the season of the hunt. I actually really do enjoy using Hawkmoon, and the fact that it has a catalyst is pretty awesome. There are some specific triumphs that actually come out of this mission, including picking up all the paracausal feathers on one character in 1 week, and I'm gonna have a guide for you on that a little bit later. But if you do want to see that video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. If you like something inside of this video, a positive rating is greatly appreciated. Leave a comment down below and let me know what rolls you got on your Hawkmoon. Do you think that this is a good mission to have inside of Season of the Hunt? How are you doing with Destiny these days? If you do want to discuss Destiny and find some other people who are playing right now, you should make sure you join our Discord server, which is down in the description box below. You can find that link and join us there. As always, you can get some help over here if you're trying to get your Hawkmoon. Come over to twitch.tv/manodester777, where I do lots of PvE helps, dungeons, exotic quests, some PvP as well. So we'd love to see you over there. As always, Guardians, thank you so much for watching. Good hunting, and I'll see you next time in the universe of Destiny.